Good afternoon. We're glad to be with you today, and we're going to study some things that are pertaining to the world and what's going on. I'm not going to get too far because this is a big subject, so we're going to take this in little bits and pieces. We're going to start today with the book of Matthew and begin looking at the 24th chapter. I'll say there's a lot of scriptures, a lot of prophecies that pertain throughout the Bible, but we're starting here because in this one chapter, Jesus gives what I would call an outline of events. So if we get that outline established, then we can start adding from other passages the details that fit into that. And so we'll get a few verses here from Matthew 24 done in the next few minutes. So as we begin, I want to look at the setting of this teaching that Jesus does. And oftentimes this passage or this chapter is referred to as the Olivet Discourse. There we go. And the reason it's called that is because he taught this from the Mount of Olives, which is just east of Jerusalem. And it's, as you look across the valley there that separates the Mount of Olives from the city of Jerusalem, you would be looking directly at the Temple Mount. And you'll see why that matters here in a few minutes. Jesus is being questioned here in chapter 24 by his disciples of some things. Let me read verse 1. It says, "And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple." Okay, so this verse 1 sets the stage. Jesus is actually leaving the temple, and his disciples come out and they're going to show him the temple. Okay, the words, we might have to think about that just a little bit, because obviously he had seen the temple because he was just in the temple. So they weren't saying, see, here's the temple. So they had something different in mind. And to find out, we have to back up to the chapter prior here. And this 23rd chapter of Matthew, Jesus is in the temple and he's rebuking the leadership of the Jewish people. And the rebukes go something like this, and I'll just pick one. "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites." Now that's like going into your church and calling your pastor a hypocrite. It's not going to go over so well. But this is what Jesus is doing. "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous, and say, if we had been in the days of our father, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets. Wherefore ye be witnesses unto yourselves that ye are the children of them which killed the prophets." Okay, so dig into that a little bit. Basically, the leadership says, if it had been us, we wouldn't have done that. And Jesus said, yeah, you are the children of your fathers, and you would have done that. So that's just one of the things that he said to him. I believe 13 times he rebuked these Jewish leaders for the things that they were doing. Obviously, again, this is not making them happy. And so I'm going to run down to the last verse here, or last couple verses. And Jesus says in verse 36, "Verily I say unto you, all these things shall come upon this generation. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets and stonest them which are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathereth her children under her wings, and you would not. Behold, your house," now listen to these words, "is Jesus He's in the temple, and he says to these religious leaders, behold, your house is left unto you desolate. Word desolate means empty. Quite a statement. We could get into that a little bit, but just will suffice it to say that he had not made them happy. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. And then he makes this statement, for I say unto you, ye shall not see me henceforth. You won't see me again till ye shall say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. Okay, so let's talk about that just a little bit. He said, you're not going to see me here again. Now, the tradition and the commandment actually of the law said every male has to come to worship 3 times a year. And so Jesus is saying, you're not going to see me here again. This is a familiar place to him, being a Jew, a male Jew, that he'd been there many times. And now he's saying, you're not going to see me again until something happens. What is it that was going to happen? He said, you won't see me till ye shall say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. Well, he's referring to himself. And now he just spoke all of this rebuke against the leadership. And then he tells them, you're not going to see me again until you say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. So they're going to have to do a 180 in their thinking before he returns. Okay, so now the disciples are here with him, and they have to process all that they've just seen. And so what is happening here? What are they thinking? To them, I would think that he's saying it won't be long, because there are 3 feasts a year. He's got to get back, and he's got to be in Jerusalem again before one of those next feasts. So it's going to be less than a year before he's going to come back. And so they were probably getting excited, because why? They believe that Jesus, and rightly so, is the Messiah. And that Messiah is going to come and rule Israel. And so now he spoke to these leaders, and he said, when I come back, you're going to basically accept me as your Messiah, accept me as your leader, crown me, if you would, king over Israel. And so to the followers of Jesus, this is exciting news to them. I mean, if you were following Jesus at the time and he made this statement, you would say, hey, he's going to set up his kingdom now. And so as we move into Matthew 24, then this is the context of the setting. And again, I'm going to read that first verse. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came unto him to show him the buildings of the temple. It's an excitement. They're saying, hey, Jesus, I know what we just, heard what you said, and it's going to be kind of rough probably because you made them mad, but something's going to happen, because the next time you come, you're going to be received as the Messiah, as the Lord. They're going to say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. And so they're excited. They're showing him, hey, this is your place. This is going to be your house. And we're part of that. We're excited about that. And then Jesus is going to tell them some things. Verse 2. And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Well, yeah, they see it because they showed it to Jesus. Verily or truly I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. He just crushed all of their excitement. He just blew their minds. He just told them something that wasn't even anything in their thinking that they would want to look forward to. The temple that they thought he would walk into and become ruler of Israel, he says, this is all going to be destroyed. So often, the way we think things are going to be are not the reality of what they're going to be. And so Jesus is going to take the rest of this chapter to lay out what is coming. And it won't be for some time. The disciples were excited because they thought it was now or very shortly. But Jesus is telling them this whole place is going to fall down. And indeed, the year 70 AD, Rome came in and destroyed that temple, just like he said. But what's the rest of the chapter about? We'll continue later.